welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you a little bit about watercolor palettes. And over the last several years of painting, I have tried out quite a few different types. I've tried plastic, metal, ceramic, glass, paper, a lot of plastic. I've tried some kits where there's watercolors that came with it, and I've tried kits where palettes where you fill your own wells with paint using tube paint. And so I wanted to show you some of my favorites throughout the years. I'll show you my favorite when I was just getting started, my favorite that I use today on a day-to-day basis, and my favorite for when I'm traveling. And I kind of wanted to just show you my collection. I have a couple of really neat ones, and yeah, so I think we're ready to get started. Let's go. All right, here we go. Let's talk about some palettes. So the first one I have, I really love this one. This is a Winsor Newton Cotman set palette, whatever you want to call it. So this one, I believe, comes with 24 different wells, but I might have used this one up, or maybe it just up and left, who knows. But it's really neat because you have two different trays for mixing colors, and you have a ton of color options. So this is a really great one. You can tell it's gotten some good use. Over here, I don't even know where this is from. I might have got it on Amazon. I might have got it at an art store, but it's just a plastic mixing well. There you go. This one's kind of fun. My dad gave me this for Christmas. I think he found it at an old antique store. My parents love to go antiquing, especially my mom, but he found this there and he thought it was cool because he's a guitar player. Nothing's inside of it, but it's cool. I've done a little bit of mixing over here. You can tell it's kind of pink. Up next, these were from a collaboration I did with my friend Sarah Longnecker from Sylvan Clayworks. This one, this bigger one, I've been using for gouache. If you know what gouache is like, you'll understand why it's kind of crumbly looking like this. But usually if I'm using this, I just kind of use a spray bottle and get that color going. Really great for, actually this one here doesn't have the wells, it's just flat. So I like to use this one for mixing, and this one I like to actually hold colors because it has these divots for different colors. Okay, up next, El Cheapo. This was probably like 50 cents, but I actually have a ton of these. I use them for workshops in person, and I'll just give people some of my favorite colors. So it's really high quality stuff, but the only downside to this one is there's not a lot of room for mixing colors. I like to have a lot of real estate when I mix colors, but hey, really great affordable option if you don't want to spend very much money. Up next, Cinelli, I'm not sure exactly how to say that. This is another one my dad gave me. Ta-da! This one's neat because, first of all, these colors are amazing. Gorgeous colors. This is all the colors you would ever need. What I really like about it is it has some colors that I don't actually have in my Winsor Newton collection. Not that I couldn't have them, but I just don't have a pink like this per se. And I don't know, there's just some fun options in there. I have painted with this quite a bit, and I've been able to get some really awesome colors. And I like that it's metal. I just think it's cool. It kind of has like a vintage quality to it. A lot of vintage paint tins were metal, not plastic. So I like it. It feels really hardy, really durable. I think it's just beautifully made too. Up next, we have an actual family heirloom. This was from my great-grandma Dorothy. I can open it. It's very old. It's probably from the 50s or 60s. That looks like 60s design, doesn't it? from Crayola, the Crayola markers. Anyways, I can't really use it anymore. I used to use it when I first started painting. I believe that these colors in here were the original colors, and hey, they still work. So I don't know if watercolor even has an expiration date. Maybe it doesn't. Anyhow, I don't use it just because it looks like I've really lifted off a lot of the paint. There was like a white layer of paint on the metal, so you could actually see what you're mixing, but I don't even know what I did to this thing, but it didn't deserve it. So anyways, I keep this up on my shelf. Reminds me of my grandma and makes me really happy. Love the color. And it's just a nice little, reminder of family and reminder of my first days painting with watercolor when I had no idea what I was doing. All right, up next. This one is so neat. Oh my goodness. So this is a Masterson's Stay Wet Handy Palette. Stay Wet. I always want to say Stay Wet, not Stay Wet, but this one's really cool for gouache. So if you've used gouache, you know that it's not like watercolor in the way that it dries out. As I showed you over here, it gets kind of crumbly. You see that? However, this palette here, these colors have been in here for weeks and weeks and weeks. And they're still wet. I got a little bit of red, not much. But yeah, these are still definitely wet. And the way that it does that, let's see if I can grab this sponge. There's a wet sponge in there. And this is just, I believe this is just wax paper. And it has a really great seal, so it just kind of keeps whatever's, it keeps whatever's in there wet for a long time. I've also used it for oil paints, and I've heard people use it for acrylics. I don't have a lot of experience with that, but for me, using it for gouache is awesome because I don't really like when gouache gets really crumbly. It kind of becomes a lot more transparent at that point, and I think what people really love about gouache is that it is a lot more opaque and, doesn't have the transparency that watercolor does, even though it works like watercolor. Up next, my Sylvan Clayworks palettes. I'll show you both of them. This is my second round of her palettes. What's really, really special about these is that I actually helped her kind of workshop the design for these. She asked me how many wells I would like and how much area for mixing and if I want dividers. So I kind of custom made this one with her. And so of course this is my baby. I absolutely love this. It has these little divots here for placing your watercolor brush. And I just love it. I don't know. It just sparks joy, And then this one was a more recent one I got from her. This one here, I asked her to do it without any wells. I just wanted one that was really flat, that was going to be mostly for mixing color. And I just love that design. She sells these cups that also go with it, where you can mix your brushes in the water. But I kind of love the shape of it. Just kind of looks like a cookie with a bite out of it, doesn't it? So there you have it. Love those, love those, love those. All right, last one. This is my watercolor palette. Pretty sure that's all the information that it says on this. But I know I have a link for this, so I'll provide this below. This was a really affordable one. I think this is only like $10. But I actually have taken out most of the color from it and put it on my ceramic palette because I use that one so much more often. But let me tell you what I love about this one. You see that on the edge? This blue line is rubber. So say you're out painting in a beautiful meadow and then a storm comes. Well, it's okay. All you do, close it, throw it in your bag, and your paints aren't going anywhere. They might run around in here, but they're not gonna seep out of it. So this one's really awesome. I used this for quite a long time. This was my first palette when I first started using tube paint versus wells of paint. And just for a reference, in case you don't understand what that means, These are paint wells. These are little pans of paint. Or, sorry, yeah, these are paint pans. I believe that's what they're called. And paint tubes, obviously, are tubes. Who doesn't know what a tube is? Those are tubes. So, yes. So I first started using this one when I started using exclusively tube paint. Specifically, I'm using Winsor & Newton paints on a daily basis. But love this one, served me for a long time. I still use it once in a while when I'm traveling, but so. All right, so let me tell you my favorite palette for a day-to-day use. I obviously, you could probably tell, but this is my day-to-day use palette. I love it. I have this set up on my desk 24/7. And the great thing about watercolor is that you can just leave it baking out in the sun all day and it just works the exact same way whenever you bring water to it and activate those colors. So I love it. I leave it out all the time. However, this is my home palette. If I was going to go plein air for the day, I would not bring this. I don't want to crack it, and it would just be impractical because this is probably like 3, 4, 5. I have no idea how weight works, but maybe like 4 or 5 pounds. So for traveling, for day-to-day, kind of throw it in your bag, go paint outside, headed on a plane, I would definitely take this one just because of that rubber strip. I really like that. I feel very secure about, you know, the water not leaking out, and it just feels good. This is a great palette. It really is. Okay, lastly, I will show you the one I recommend for when you're just getting started, and that would be the Cotman Kit. This is the 24. They also have one that has 10 and one that has 48. And this one's just awesome, has a great amount of mixing space, lots of colors when you're just starting to discover which colors you even like to use. And I got started with the set with 10 colors, and then I bumped up to this one, and then I bumped up to the one with 48 colors. So I think Winsor & Newton is an incredible brand. They are absolutely my favorite watercolor brand. The Cotman paints are more affordable than the professional series paints, so this is a really great set when you're just getting started and you don't really want to invest in the professional series paints. But I love them. I think the quality is not, I really don't think the quality is really any less. At least I can't really tell. You might have to use a little bit more paint to get really, really dark colors, but hey, honestly, I've painted so many hours with the Cotman paints, and I can say that they are amazing quality. So I love it, recommend it. I believe that is all I was going to talk about. So yeah, so let me know down in the comments which one is your favorite, which one you use on a day-to-day basis, if there's anything I missed. And yeah, I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.